Welcome. Today, by some stroke of fortune or perhaps a deeper intuition, you've clicked on a video that 99% of people will simply scroll past. Yet you didn't. And that singular act, that tiny deviation from the norm, already signifies something profoundly different about you. Now, the pivotal question hangs in the air. Will you merely watch these words unfold? Or will you allow them to ignite a transformation that changes your life forever? Because what we are about to reveal isn't just another fleeting dose of motivation. A gentle nudge of inspiration designed to fade by tomorrow morning. No, this is real. This is raw. This will be uncomfortable. And above all, this is absolutely necessary. You see, from the tender age of childhood, society, the system, imprints upon your mind a well-worn, almost ritualistic formula. Go to school, chase those good grades, secure a safe job, work diligently, save every penny, meticulously pay off your debts, invest wisely in mutual funds, retire, and then, ultimately, die. But pause for a moment, look around, and ask yourself one disquieting question. Why are you meticulously saving pennies when the top 1%, the global elite, are effortlessly printing trillions? The world whispers incessantly, be humble, be careful, be patient, don't desire too much. It teaches you to shrink your ambitions, to quell the fire within. But here's the stark, unvarnished truth. While you're being diligently told to save a modest $10, somewhere, someone else just generated $10 million in a single day. While you're consumed by the arduous struggle to pay off student loans or mortgage debt, another individual is quietly acquiring the very building you live in. While you're simply striving to survive, to keep your head above water, they are systematically constructing empires. This is no longer a small, manageable gap. It's a vast, unspoken, and ever-widening canyon between the privileged 1% and the struggling 99%. And let's be absolutely clear. No one is coming to save you from its depths. You were meticulously trained to follow the crowd, to adopt the well-trodden 99% lifestyle. A path that appears safe, secure, predictable, but which slowly, insidiously chokes the life out of your deepest dreams. But here's the uncomfortable truth that society conveniently forgets to mention. The 1% operate differently. They think differently. They move through the world with a distinct purpose. And if you harbor the burning desire to live a life that transcends the ordinary, you must begin to do what 99% are simply not doing. This video is not merely about achieving superficial success. It delves far deeper. It's about claiming absolute freedom. It's about forging an authentic identity. It's about seizing complete control over your destiny. It's about wielding genuine power. It's about making a conscious choice to embark on a fundamentally different life. A life that you and only you meticulously design. And here's a powerful bonus. As you absorb these profound, life-altering truths, you are simultaneously, organically, and powerfully training your English. This video is deliberately crafted in simple, yet potent and emotionally resonant English. So, as your mind expands and evolves, so too will your linguistic prowess. This isn't just a video. It's a potent weapon. For your mind, for your voice, for your future. So, don't merely watch this. Absorb every word. Live its principles. Engrave it into your memory. Because this is what they conspicuously omitted from your education. And now we begin. #### stage 1. Stop following the crowd. Let's confront the most dangerous, yet often ignored truth first. If you choose to follow the path that most people are treading, you will inevitably reap the same meager results that most people are getting. And what precisely does that entail? A life characterized by chronic stress, suffocating debt, gnawing regret, a relentless cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, and the bleak prospect of working 40 arduous years only to retire on an income far less than you genuinely need. But that, my friend, is the insidious trap of the 99%. They follow blindly, like sheep herded to slaughter. They never once dare to question the underlying system. They never pause to ask themselves with genuine introspection, is this truly the life I envisioned for myself? Is this what I truly desire? Allow me to paint a vivid example. Imagine a vast, sprawling road stretching into the horizon. Along this road, 10,000 people march in a single, unified direction. But then, you spot one lone individual walking resolutely in the opposite direction. Now, if you are firmly embedded within the crowd, your immediate assumption would be that the one person is hopelessly lost, perhaps even mentally unwell. You would naturally conclude that the 10,000 are undeniably right. But what if? What if all 10,000 are, unknowingly, marching steadily towards a precipitous cliff edge, and that single, defiant individual is the only one walking towards genuine freedom? This isn't a mere hypothetical. It's a stark reflection of real life. We instinctively mimic what our neighbors do, what society dictates as normal, what everyone else on social media flaunts. But the brutal truth is that the vast crowd, the 99%, is utterly addicted to the saccharine comfort of familiarity, the fleeting thrills of entertainment, and the endless stream of mind-numbing distractions. The 1%, conversely, is relentlessly addicted to continuous growth, the invigorating sting of challenge, and the unwavering power of discipline. The 99% squander their precious time endlessly arguing with strangers online. The 1% meticulously spend their time building robust systems. The 99% passively wait for a marginal raise. The 1% actively construct multiple, diverse income streams. The 99% perpetually utter the phrase, "One day I will." The 1% declare with decisive action, "Today I did." Look closely at any successful industry, any field of profound achievement. Jeff Bezos didn't just stumble upon Amazon. He meticulously created it, brick by virtual brick, while countless others were merely browsing and shopping. Elon Musk wasn't idly binge-watching shows. He was voraciously devouring complex books, expanding his knowledge exponentially. Kobe Bryant didn't just emerge as a legend. He was perfecting his jump shots, honing his craft with relentless precision, while most of the world slumbered. Why? Because they all, in their own unique ways, adamantly refused to follow the crowd. The truth is, following the crowd feels inherently safe. It's the path of least resistance, the comfortable compromise. But it is also, paradoxically, the safest way to remain perpetually average. Success, true, resounding success, demands a degree of magnificent disobedience. Excellence, the kind that stands out, requires a rebellious spirit. Freedom, the kind that liberates your very soul, necessitates the courage to question the established rules. So, here's a deeply personal question for you right now. What are you doing in your life purely because everyone else is doing it? What ingrained belief do you blindly follow without ever bothering to ask where it originated? What habit are you unconsciously copying that is, right this very moment, keeping you utterly stuck? Because the moment you consciously begin to think for yourself, to forge your own path, you've already accomplished something that 99% are too paralyzed by fear to even contemplate. And that, precisely, is the gateway to the next stage. #### stage 2. Replace motivation with discipline. Let me utter a deeply uncomfortable truth, something that 99% of people simply do not want to hear, and will actively resist. Motivation is a lie. It is an exquisitely crafted trap. It is the insidious reason why countless individuals enthusiastically start ventures but never, ever finish them. It's why people passionately talk about their aspirations but never translate those words into tangible action. You see, the 99% spend their entire lives in a perpetual, exhausting chase after motivation. They whisper to themselves, "I'll start when I feel ready. I'll finally hit the gym next week. I'll practice my English tomorrow, if I feel motivated enough. I'll tackle my goals once this particular mood passes." And so nothing happens. Not because they are inherently lazy, but because they are caught in the agonizing limbo of waiting to feel something before they are willing to take action. But here is the profound distinction that the 1% intuitively grasp. deeply understand, and rigidly embody. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a decision. Motivation, like the wind, is fickle and transient. It comes and it goes, a capricious force beyond your full control. Discipline, on the other hand, is like the engine of a powerful vessel. It relentlessly propels you forward, steadfast and unwavering, even when the fiercest storms rage around you. Consider the legendary Kobe Bryant, widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players in the annals of history. He didn't achieve unparalleled greatness simply because he was born with some magical, innate talent. He won year after year because of one deceptively simple, yet utterly transformative habit. He showed up every single day, whether he felt like it or not. Do you truly comprehend what time Kobe Bryant commenced his brutal training regimen? 4 a.m. every single day. When the vast majority of his competitors were still deeply asleep, when most people were still lost in the realm of dreams, Kobe was already drenched in sweat, pushing his physical and mental limits. He never passively waited for motivation to strike. Instead, he meticulously constructed a bulletproof routine. He cultivated an unshakable mindset. If I don't feel like doing it, that is precisely when I must do it. That, my friends, is the bedrock discipline of the 1%. And consider this sobering thought. The players who possessed arguably more raw talent than him never reached his stratospheric heights, precisely because they foolishly depended on the fleeting whims of motivation. Let's distill this into its simplest, most potent form. Motivation is that effervescent feeling when you want to do something, but that feeling, by its very nature, is a temporary guest. One day you're bubbling with excitement, the next you're consumed by lethargy. Discipline, however, is the unwavering act of doing what needs to be done, even when every fiber of your being screams in protest. It is a resolute decision, not a capricious mood. You execute the task because you made a solemn promise to yourself. Motivation may initiate the journey, sparking the first flicker of enthusiasm, but it is discipline and discipline alone that guarantees you will finish it. If you crave genuine, lasting success, do not wait for the elusive feeling of readiness. Instead, cultivate a state of perpetual readiness no matter how you emotionally feel. That is precisely why the 1% refuse to rely on motivation. They meticulously design robust systems, establish ironclad non-negotiables, and relentlessly move forward without ever pausing to ask their fleeting feelings for permission. Let's take the goal of practicing English every day. Day 1, you're brimming with excitement. You watch a video, devour new words. Day 2, exhaustion sets in, you skip it entirely. Day 3, a wave of guilt washes over you. You hastily watch another video. Day 4, you throw in the towel, declaring, I'll restart next week. And just like that, you're back to square one. That, in essence, is the predictable failure pattern of the 99%. But now, vividly imagine this alternative. You make an unyielding decision. Every evening at 8 p.m. I will speak English for 15 minutes, no matter what. You force yourself to do it when you're bone tired. You push through it when you're engulfed in sadness. You command yourself to do it even when your mind vehemently protests. And after 30 days of this unwavering commitment, your English demonstrably improves, your confidence soars, and, most importantly, your discipline becomes utterly unbreakable. That is the fundamental practice of the 1%. They do not depend on fickle moods. They construct powerful, enduring routines. They show up without seeking external permission or internal emotional consent. This stage, more than any other, is the true turning point in life. It represents the monumental difference between merely starting and perpetually stopping, between idly wishing and actually achieving, between vaguely dreaming and truly living. The reason 99% remain perpetually stuck isn't because they lack talent or potential. It's because they constantly offer the same tired excuses. I didn't feel like it today. I wasn't in the mood. Something unexpected came up. But the 1%, with resolute conviction, declare, I do it anyway. I do it because I made a sacred promise to myself. I do it because my entire future depends upon it. And this is the profound truth you must etch into your memory forever. Discipline is the unwavering act of doing what absolutely needs to be done, even when you vehemently don't want to do it. Even when no one else is watching your efforts. Even when the task is mind-numbingly boring. Even when every fiber of your being screams for you to quit. Because your future, my friend, does not care how you feel. It only responds without prejudice to what you consistently do. Ask yourself with brutal honesty, what do I perpetually postpone? Always promising myself, I'll start tomorrow. Where in my life am I passively waiting to feel a surge of motivation before I finally take action? What is one small, manageable action I can commit to doing daily, no matter what external or internal circumstance arises? Because once you cease the futile chase after motivation and begin the rigorous, transformative process of building discipline, you become dangerous. You become unbreakable. You become 1%. And that is the very essence of what this video champions. #### stage 3. Think long-term while others chase instant pleasure. Let me state this with absolute clarity. The 99% think only about the fleeting satisfactions of today. The 1% think about the strategic landscape of the next 10 years and often beyond. And that, precisely, is the fundamental reason why they amass wealth, why they wield undeniable power, why they achieve profound victories in silent, unseen ways. While the masses are still caught in the frantic pursuit of likes, the fleeting sugar rush, the momentary high of a sale, the dopamine hit of endless scrolling, and the hollow gratification of discounts, the 1% are building an enduring legacy. You see, most people are tragically addicted to quick pleasure, to the immediate gratification. They demand tangible results in a mere 7 days. They yearn to feel good right now in this very instant. They crave instant wins, immediate validation. But the greatest tragedy, the most heartbreaking paradox, is this. People routinely sacrifice their entire future, often without even realizing it, just to indulge in the ephemeral enjoyment of the next 5 minutes. Imagine this commonplace scenario. You're hungry. You're presented with 2 distinct choices. Choice 1. Meticulously prepare a healthy, nourishing meal at home. This will take a dedicated 20 minutes of your time and effort. Choice 2. Drive through McDonald's. This will take a mere 5 minutes, offering instant gratification. Most people, trapped in the instant pleasure cycle, will instinctively choose McDonald's. It's fast, it's cheap, it's salty, it's undeniably tasty in the moment. But what they fail to perceive, what remains utterly invisible in that instant, is the hidden compounding price. The creeping tiredness, the uncomfortable bloating, the inevitable sugar crash, the insidious weight gain, and the long-term cumulative damage to their health. That, in essence, is the quintessential behavior of the 99%. They crave quick wins, oblivious to the profound, long-term pain they are simultaneously incurring. The 1%, conversely, deliberately embrace what is difficult now, knowing that this deferred gratification will lead to a life of profound ease and mastery later. Let's lay bare the honest, brutal difference between these 2 mindsets. The 99% life versus the 1% life ***. The 99% * spend money to feel good now. The 1% * invest money to grow later. The 99% * skip work to relax. The 1% * work today to relax tomorrow, and for decades to come. The 99% * watch Netflix to escape. The 1% * read books to evolve. The 99% * party every weekend. The 1% * build every weekend. The 99% * practice when they feel motivated. The 1% * practice every single day, regardless of mood. The 99% * ask, what will I get this week? The 1% * ask, who will I become in 5 years? In 10 years? The truth, a truth few want to accept, is that genuine success is a slow, deliberate process. And that is precisely why most people never truly taste its sweetness, because it's not fun in the conventional sense. It's not viral. It doesn't instantly generate likes or a flurry of excited comments. It doesn't go boom overnight. Success begins boring almost imperceptibly. Then, over time, through unwavering consistency, it blossoms into something truly beautiful. Consider one of the richest men in the world, the legendary investor Warren Buffett. Do you truly know how he accumulated his staggering billions? Not with speed, not with hype, not with overnight wins. He became phenomenally wealthy through long-term, unyielding discipline. He reads an astonishing 500 pages a day. He acquires companies and holds them not for months, but for decades. He deliberately shuns trendy, hyped-up stocks. He actively avoids excitement, seeing it as a distraction from rational decision-making. And here's the most astounding part. At the tender age of 11, he bought his very first stock. At age 56, he officially became a billionaire. It took him 45 long, arduous years of consistent reading, strategic investing, patient waiting, and meticulous watching. But now, he earns billions even in his sleep, while the 99% are still frantically chasing their first $1,000. Why? Because Buffett profoundly understood this timeless rule. If you desire rewards that endure forever, you must commit to doing things that feel utterly invisible, even insignificant, today. Let's be brutally real. Long-term thinking is excruciatingly hard. Why? Because we are fundamentally wired, by evolution and by modern society, to seek immediate pleasure, quick results, and instant feedback. That's why we compulsively check our phone notifications 100 times a day, addicted to the ping. That's why people declare, "I'll quit if I don't see results in 1 week." That's why the vast majority of people never construct anything truly great, anything of lasting significance. Their brains are hopelessly stuck in the tyranny of today. But greatness, true greatness, resides firmly in the expansive realm of tomorrow. The person who dedicates just 15 minutes daily to studying English for an entire year will effortlessly speak with impressive fluency, while others are still procrastinating with "I'll start tomorrow." The person who diligently builds one small side business every single evening will be financially liberated in 5 years, while others are still passively waiting for a modest promotion. The person who reads just one transformative book a month will be 12 books smarter every single year, accumulating profound wisdom while others are mindlessly scrolling. How the 1% build their future asterisk. They cultivate compound habits. A mere 1% improvement daily equates to being 37 times better in a single year. They delay pleasure for power. They intentionally skip Netflix now to meticulously build skills that will generate $10,000 or more later. They think in decades, not days. They constantly ask, what profound impact will this habit have on me in 10 years? They trust the invisible work. They don't crave immediate applause or external validation. They solely demand results. If you genuinely desire to break free from the gravitational pull of the 99%, stop asking the superficial question, how fast will I succeed? Instead, begin asking the deeply profound question, how far can I truly go if I simply keep showing up, consistently, daily? Make peace with the unglamorous reality of being slow but utterly consistent. Because speed without purposeful direction invariably leads to disaster. Take out a pen and paper. Write down your most ambitious goals for the next 3 years, not just the fleeting aspirations of this week. Actively train your brain to envision a future further afield. Trust your seemingly boring, mundane habits. They are diligently planting seeds that the 99% are utterly incapable of even perceiving. The 99% chase fleeting pleasure, inevitably leading to long-term pain. The 1% embrace the discomfort of short-term pain, knowing it will unlock immense, enduring power. If you possess the mental fortitude to wait longer than others, to remain unwavering when visible results are scarce, and to think in terms of decades instead of days, then you will achieve things that 99% can't even begin to imagine. And that, my friend, is how you finally break free. #### Stage 4. Use your evenings wisely while others waste them silently. Let me ask you something profoundly personal, something that probes directly into the quiet corners of your existence. What, precisely, do you do between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. every single night? Because I will reveal a stark truth that 99% of people never truly grasp. Your evenings are either meticulously building your future, brick by brick, or they are slowly, silently, and permanently dismantling it. The 99% evening routine asterisk for the vast majority of people. The rhythm of the day unfolds predictably. They wake up feeling tired, drag themselves to work or school, return home utterly exhausted, quickly consume some convenient food, instinctively open their phone, and begin the endless scroll. They check WhatsApp, flit to Instagram, lose themselves on YouTube, watch a few reels, then perhaps an episode of a show, then another, then another. They might order late-night food, procrastinate on their most cherished dreams, feel a familiar pang of guilt, eventually collapse into bed, only to wake up tired and repeat the exact same cycle. And then, inevitably, one day they look up, bewildered, and ask, "Why is nothing in my life ever changing?" The answer is simple, yet brutally painful. It's because you are habitually donating your most valuable, irreplaceable time to the most useless, soul-sapping habits. Here's a crucial insight that people consistently forget. Evenings are your second life, cunningly hidden within your first. Allow me to elaborate. Your job, your college commitments, your family responsibilities. These forces lay claim to your daytime hours, demanding your energy and focus. But your evenings, those precious 4 to 5 hours each night, are uniquely yours. And what you choose to do or not do in those hours will either propel you forward, making you 1% richer, smarter, healthier, and more skilled, or it will condemn you to remain perpetually stuck in the same cycles for the next 10 years. Let's consider two individuals, Person A and Person B. They are the same age, hold the same job, earn the same salary, and live in the same city. Person A, the 99% evening, comes home, indulges in unhealthy junk food, mindlessly scrolls Instagram for hours, watches an endless stream of YouTube shorts, settles in for just one episode of a show, which inevitably morphs into 2, then 3. They finally tell themselves, "I'll start my goals tomorrow," eventually fall asleep around 1 a.m. And then, the cycle repeats. Person B, the 1% evening, comes home, consciously freshens up, prepares and eats a healthy, nourishing meal, dedicates 30 minutes to reading an enriching book, spends an hour learning a new skill online, practices English aloud for 30 minutes, writes a thoughtful journal entry, meticulously plans out tomorrow's tasks, and is asleep by 10:30 p.m. Now pause and truly consider this. Fast forward 1 year. They have both lived through the same number of days. Yet, Person B is now fluent in English, significantly healthier, demonstrably smarter, radiates more confidence, and is actively constructing a better, more fulfilling life. Meanwhile, Person A is still stuck, still tired, still confused, and still scrolling. Why? Because of the profound, compounding difference in how they chose to spend their evenings. The 99% don't waste their evenings because they are inherently lazy. They waste them because they are mentally exhausted from the demands of the day. But they fail to realize a critical distinction. Genuine rest is not mindless scrolling. True rest is active recovery, purposeful rejuvenation. They rationalize, "I deserve a break," but they don't understand that a break that ultimately breaks your future is not a reward. It is a cunningly disguised trap. They delude themselves into believing they'll change tomorrow, but every tomorrow inevitably becomes just another wasted today. The 1%, conversely, protect their evenings like a sacred, inviolable ritual. They understand that your mornings, for the most part, belong to the world's demands. But your evenings belong purely to you. And what you strategically accomplish in that precious, reclaimed time dictates everything. The 1% leverage their evenings to meticulously build side incomes, to diligently learn new languages, to voraciously read transformative books, to construct websites, to vigorously work out, to cultivate their minds, to thoughtfully plan their week, to deeply reflect, to truly recover, and to meticulously prepare for the challenges ahead. They use their evenings to become dangerously potent, in silence, away from the prying eyes of the world. So, while the world assumes they are simply relaxing, they are, in fact, quietly forging weapons of immense personal growth. Right now, ask yourself this with unflinching honesty. What did I actually do last night between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m.? Did those activities bring me measurably closer to the life I genuinely desire? Or did they merely entertain me, offering fleeting distraction, while my dreams patiently waited, gathering dust? And now, ask a more empowering question. What if I dedicated just 1 hour, every single evening, to practicing English, or reading one chapter of an insightful book, or writing down my most ambitious goals, or watching educational content, or learning a valuable new skill? Where, truly, would I be 1 year from now? It's not your entire day that singularly shapes your future. It's your often forgotten, yet profoundly powerful, evenings. Here's how to transform your evening into your most potent advantage asterisk. Set a rule asterisk. Implement a strict, no phone scrolling after 7 p.m. policy. This simple boundary reclaims hours. Create a ritual asterisk. Designate at least 1 hour for a specific growth activity every evening, making it non-negotiable. Have a station asterisk. Establish a dedicated corner or space in your home where you exclusively read, write, or create. Protect the time asterisk. Treat this hour like a crucial, unmissable meeting with your future self. It is sacred. Track it asterisk. Keep a journal, even a simple note, documenting what you accomplished every evening. Do not lie to yourself. Your evening is the most powerful, often overlooked, part of your day. Do not donate it cheaply to distractions. Do not waste it on things that do not actively serve your highest dreams. Do not trade it for fleeting, superficial pleasure. Because a man or woman who uses their evenings wisely will invariably forge a life that others can only gaze upon with distant admiration. And that, my friend, is how you definitively separate yourself from the 99%. Silently, slowly, and most importantly, forever. #### Stage 5. Study obsessively while others stay entertained. Let me pose this question to you with utmost honesty. When was the last time you truly studied for yourself? Not for some impending school exam, not to pass a mandatory test, but solely for your future, for your profound personal growth, for the sheer enrichment of your life? The harsh truth is that 99% of people abruptly cease learning after they graduate from school. They harbor the erroneous belief that formal education concludes at the graduation ceremony. But the 1%, the perpetual learners, they never stop, because they intuitively understand that school might equip you with a job. But self-education, that is the key that unlocks genuine freedom. Most people today are not just consuming content. They are quite literally drowning in it. Endless YouTube videos, an incessant stream of reels, addictive TikToks, vacuous viral gossip, superficial celebrity interviews, inane reaction videos, podcasts about manufactured drama, mind-numbing gaming live streams, shorts, a ceaseless torrent of digital noise. They spend, on average, 4 to 6 hours every single day passively consuming, and yet, they deceptively label this mental atrophy as relaxing. Here's the brutal, unvarnished truth. If you are consuming more than you are actively learning, you are not relaxing. You are slowly but surely rotting your mind. The 1% learn with an almost obsessive fervor, as if their very existence depends on it. Consider the remarkable journey of Elon Musk. He did not construct Tesla and SpaceX by idly watching funny cat videos or celebrity interviews. He famously declared, with disarming simplicity, "I taught myself rocket science by reading books." Yes, rocket science. He voraciously devoured physics textbooks purely for the pleasure of learning, for the intellectual challenge. While the 99% were comfortably settled in binge-watching Netflix, Elon was meticulously poring over complex engineering manuals. While the 99% were thoughtlessly sharing viral memes, Elon was actively designing the very future of humanity. That, in essence, is the profound difference. The 99% crave effortless entertainment. The 1% demand challenging elevation. Let me offer you a simple yet utterly shocking equation. Commit to reading just 10 pages a day. That, over the course of a year, translates to an astonishing 3,650 pages. This is the equivalent of reading 18 full, substantive books. That's more than most people read in their entire adult lives combined. Now, vividly imagine this: 1 year from today you have read 3 powerful books on money, 3 on an unshakable mindset, 3 on optimal health, 3 on mastering English, 3 on nurturing healthy relationships, 3 on maximizing productivity, and 3 on the art of entrepreneurship. That is not merely passive book knowledge. That is the construction of a completely new, vastly superior brain. And guess what? You will now instinctively think, strategize, and perceive the world like the 1%, while countless others are still frantically searching for yet another fleeting motivation video every single morning. What the 1% obsessively study asterisk. Skills that generate income asterisk: copywriting, digital marketing, video editing, anything that builds tangible value. Psychology asterisk: to profoundly understand the intricate workings of the human mind, including their own. Health asterisk: to live longer, with greater vitality, not just to superficially look better. Wealth asterisk: not merely how to make it, but the crucial art of how to sustainably keep and grow it. Communication asterisk: because without the ability to articulate, no one will truly listen or understand. English asterisk: not as a mere academic subject, but as an indispensable global weapon for connection and commerce. Their own mind asterisk: through journaling, deep reflection, and seeking honest feedback, they strive for self-mastery. They don't study for the fleeting gratification of exams. They study for the profound, continuous evolution of their entire being. Let's say you currently scroll Instagram for 2 hours every day. Now make a conscious, transformative switch. Instead, dedicate 30 minutes to reading a profound book. Spend another 30 minutes actively learning a new English word, mastering a grammar rule, or speaking English aloud. Devote 30 minutes to listening to an insightful podcast about success. And commit the final 30 minutes to writing down your ideas or meticulously planning your goals. Do this consistently, daily. In just 30 days, your brain will become as sharp and precise as a finely honed sword. In 90 days, people around you will inevitably begin to ask, "What on earth happened to you? You're so different." And in 1 year, you will quite literally not recognize the old, unevolved version of yourself. What you can do right now asterisk. Create a learning list asterisk. Identify 5 books or specific topics you are determined to master. Design a learning hour asterisk. Dedicate a consistent hour every day, at the same time, solely to focused learning. Track what you study asterisk. Keep a record of your learning journey. Write down what you learned, even if it's just one impactful line. Protect your brain asterisk. Implement a strict filter. If it doesn't actively teach you, do not consume it. The 99% fill their precious brains with incessant distractions. The 1% meticulously fill it with clear, purposeful directions. Because in a world drowning in deafening noise, the one who dedicates themselves to studying in focused silence will ultimately control the ones who mindlessly scroll in chaotic confusion. #### Stage 6. Take calculated risks while others fear failure. Now, let us delve into what is arguably the most uncomfortable, yet simultaneously the most powerful truth of all. This stage isn't primarily about books, or the diligent management of time, or even the unwavering force of discipline. This is about pure, unadulterated courage. It's the kind of audacious courage that 99% of people actively avoid at all costs, and the very same courage that the 1% leverage to construct their formidable empires. Let's confront it squarely. Most people are utterly terrified. Terrified of failing publicly, of looking foolish in front of others, of embarking on something new and appearing incompetent, of investing their hard-earned money and suffering a loss, of taking decisive action without ironclad guarantees, of being laughed at for daring to try. And so, what is their predictable response? They invariably choose safe. They opt for familiar. They remain comfortably entrenched within their self-imposed comfort zones for decades, clinging to a false sense of security. And by the time the stark realization dawns upon them, they have tragically spent 30 or 40 years diligently building someone else's dream, not their own. That, my friends, is the true, devastating definition of failure. The 1% conversely embrace calculated risks. Notice that crucial distinction. Not wild, reckless risks, not foolish, uninformed gambles. No, they take calculated risks. These are risks that are undeniably scary, that stir the gut, but they are also absolutely necessary for true advancement. They are risks that embody an internal monologue. I may fall, yes, that is a distinct possibility. But if I succeed, if I truly pull this off, I will never, ever have to settle for mediocrity again. Allow me to provide a compelling, real-world example. In 1994, Jeff Bezos held a prestigious position as a senior vice president at a well-established Wall Street firm. He enjoyed a safe, highly lucrative job, commanded an excellent salary, and was on a clear trajectory towards an even bigger, more secure future. But then, an audacious idea sparked in his mind. An online bookstore. Back then, the concept of online shopping was virtually unheard of, met with widespread skepticism, even derision. There was no Amazon, no Prime, no convenient one-click orders. It was, by all conventional standards, an utterly crazy, preposterous idea. And quitting his safe, comfortable job to construct it from scratch. That, my friends, was an even crazier proposition. But in that moment of profound uncertainty, he did one pivotal thing that irrevocably altered the course of his life and the landscape of global commerce. He paused, looked inward, and posed a question to his future self. A question laced with profound foresight. When I'm 80 years old, will I regret not trying this? Will the silence of inaction echo louder than the potential noise of failure? And the answer, resonating from the depths of his conviction, was an undeniable, resounding yes. So, armed with that clarity, he embraced the monumental risk, birthed Amazon from the confines of his humble garage, and embarked on a journey that would culminate in him becoming the wealthiest man in the world. This precisely embodies the 1% mindset. They don't merely avoid fear. They acknowledge its presence, then resolutely walk through it. Why do the vast majority, the 99%, consistently miss out on these monumental, life-altering opportunities? It's a pattern, a predictable dance of hesitation. They perpetually wait for the elusive, perfect timing, a mythical alignment of stars that rarely, if ever, materializes. They wait for universal support, for every naysayer to be silenced, for an unshakable surge of confidence to magically appear. They wait until they've amassed every conceivable piece of knowledge, every potential solution, before taking a single step. But here's the unvarnished truth, a fundamental principle of human progress. Confidence does not precede action. It is forged in action, brick by brick, after you've taken a series of small, manageable risks. You want to speak English fluently? Start today. Utter those words in public, even if your grammar isn't pristine, even if your accent feels awkward. Want to build something new? Launch that side hustle, even if its initial earnings amount to a meager $1. Have an idea bubbling within you? Post it, share it, voice it, even if the fear of judgment clutches at your throat. Reach out to that inspiring mentor, that figure you admire. Embark on learning a new skill, no matter how daunting it seems at first. Because for every risk you meticulously avoid, a corresponding, irreplaceable result will forever elude your grasp. The 99% are paralyzed by the fear of falling. The 1% are driven by the profound, existential fear of standing still. They don't whisper, "What if I fail?" Instead, their internal compass fiercely demands, "What if I never try?" Because one solitary, courageous small risk possesses the power to unlock one massive, life-altering door. And behind that door lies a life of boundless possibilities, a reality the 99% will, regrettably, never even glimpse. Stage 7. Guard your attention while others give it away for free. Let me unveil a chilling, pervasive truth that many fail to grasp. It's not primarily your money they crave. It's not merely your personal data they covet. It's not even solely your finite time they seek to consume. No, their ultimate prize is your attention. Because once they manage to seize control of your attention, they effectively control your mind, your ingrained habits, and ultimately your entire future. You might not consciously realize this, but at this very moment, you are embroiled in a war. A relentless, high-stakes war for your precious focus. Billions of dollars, unfathomable sums, are being meticulously deployed towards a singular, audacious mission. To steal your attention, to ensnare it, and to never relinquish it. Every glossy app icon, every fleeting notification chime, every captivating thumbnail, every endless scroll, every satisfying ding, every mesmerizing short video reel, all of it is ingeniously engineered, meticulously crafted, to trap your brain in an inescapable loop of engagement. They are not merely entertaining. They are studying your behavior with unsettling precision. They are tracking your subtle emotional shifts. They discern when you're feeling sad, when fatigue sets in, when insecurity gnaws at your self-esteem. And precisely at those vulnerable junctures, they launch their most potent attacks. Consider the typical morning ritual of the masses. Most people, before their feet even touch the floor, instinctively reach for their phone. Their fingers dance across Instagram feeds, WhatsApp chats, YouTube suggestions, unread emails, fleeting news headlines, ephemeral stories, endless reels, comments, and a cascade of notifications. In that very instant their eyes open to the digital world, their mind, their conscious awareness is already gone. Their attention is no longer their own. It is a commodity. It belongs to the cold, calculating algorithms, to multinational corporations, to relentless advertisers, to the curated, often embellished, lives of other people. They drift through their day, oblivious to this profound surrender. The very moment they begin to scroll, their precious, finite focus starts to bleed away, drop by agonizing drop. What is the true cost, the devastating consequence of relinquishing your attention so freely? You slowly but surely lose command over your own emotions, becoming reactive rather than responsive. Your most cherished goals begin to blur, receding into the background as daily distractions take precedence. You fall into the treacherous trap of comparing your authentic, messy life to the carefully curated, often artificial, fake lives you witness online. Hours vanish without a trace, swallowed whole by the digital void. You find yourself unable to be truly present with your family, unable to fully immerse yourself in your own dreams, unable to simply sit quietly with your own profound thoughts. And perhaps most devastating of all, you lose the sustained focus, the deep concentration required to enact meaningful, lasting change in your life. Your brain, relentlessly bombarded by instant gratification, becomes thoroughly addicted to quick hits, fleeting jokes, bite-sized videos, and rapid-fire dopamine surges. As a consequence, you can no longer immerse yourself in a full book, engage with a lengthy, insightful video, diligently practice English for a sustained 30 minutes, or simply sit in tranquil contemplation with your own mind. Your attention span has not just dwindled, it has been brutally murdered. And with its demise, your innate capacity for deep learning, for sustained growth, and for profound creation is irrevocably diminished. The 1%, however, grasp a fundamental, yet often overlooked, truth. What you consciously focus on relentlessly expands, and what you habitually ignore inevitably dies. Therefore, they meticulously ensure their focus is laser-sharp on what truly matters. Their evolving skills, their ambitious goals, their transformative ideas, their meticulously planned daily routines, their continuous learning, their overarching purpose, and their internal peace. They erect an invisible shield, a digital firewall, to block out everything else. They leverage apps specifically designed to neutralize distractions. They deliberately constrain their social media engagement to fixed, predetermined times. They inaugurate their days with intentional quietude, not with the jarring chaos of digital notifications. They devour profound books, not merely passive reels. They invest their attention with precision, rather than merely spending it aimlessly, because they understand a profound truth. A perpetually distracted mind can never, ever construct a truly focused, purposeful life. Do you understand why a visionary like Steve Jobs famously wore the same unassuming black turtleneck every single day? It wasn't a fashion statement. It was a profound strategic choice. He deliberately chose not to squander even a sliver of his precious mental attention on trivial decisions, like what to wear. He ruthlessly conserved his cognitive bandwidth, his entire focus, for truly monumental challenges, for the kind of groundbreaking innovation that would birth something as revolutionary as the iPhone. He intentionally streamlined and simplified his external life so that his internal world, his brilliant brain, remained impeccably clear, profoundly focused, razor-sharp, and utterly untouchable by the trivialities of the mundane. That, precisely, is the discerning practice of the 1%. They refuse to permit the chaotic world to hijack their minds. Instead, they meticulously construct a formidable mind fortress, an impenetrable sanctuary, and only permit entry to that which genuinely matters, that which serves their highest purpose. So, what tangible actions can you implement right now, today, to safeguard your invaluable attention? Delete 3 apps from your phone that you don't truly need but find yourself opening every single day. Break the habit loop. Designate 2 sacred hours of no screen time every single morning or evening. Create a zone of digital silence. Deactivate all notifications on your devices. Save for the absolute, undeniable essentials. Reclaim your peace. Honestly track your screen time daily. No lies, no self-deception. Confront the reality of your digital consumption. Start your day without your phone. Give yourself at least 30 minutes of undisturbed internal processing before inviting external noise. Consciously invest your attention into your personal growth. Dedicated English learning, focused skill building, immersive reading, introspective journaling. Because once you master control over your attention, you command nothing less than your entire world. The 99% carelessly sell their attention for cheap, then bewilderedly wonder why their lives feel so chaotic, so directionless, so utterly messy. The 1%, conversely, meticulously guard their attention like the most precious, irreplaceable diamonds, and that, fundamentally, is precisely why they radiate, why they shine. Stage 8. Say no to mediocrity while others settle for less. Now we delve into one of the most profound, deeply emotional, and often uncomfortable truths embedded within this entire philosophy. This isn't merely about managing your time, accumulating wealth, or cultivating rigid discipline. This, at its very core, is about standards, the invisible yet powerful benchmarks we set for ourselves, and how the 99% have allowed theirs to erode so drastically, so insidiously, that they've forgotten their own inherent worth, their intrinsic potential, their very identity. Let me pose a series of uncomfortable questions to you, for honest introspection. How many individuals do you personally know who are profoundly unhappy, even miserable, in their current job, yet they remain, day after soul-crushing day, without action? How many people are trapped in toxic, emotionally draining relationships, yet they cling to them, enduring the pain, rather than choosing freedom? How many declare with unwavering conviction that they'll embark on a journey of self-improvement next year, only for next year to become a perpetual, elusive tomorrow? The answer, undeniably, for most people you encounter is most people. This isn't because most people are inherently lazy or fundamentally weak. No, it's far more insidious. They have become numb. And numbness, that insidious dulling of sensation and ambition, is the fertile ground from which mediocrity blooms. They soothe themselves with platitudes. It's not that bad. At least I have something. I really should be grateful. Who am I to expect more? Who am I to truly strive? And in this slow, quiet surrender, this gentle erosion of expectation, dreams do not explode in a dramatic fiery crash. Instead, they die quietly, not with the resounding bang of a sudden defeat, but with the protracted, agonizing, silent settling for good enough. The 1%, however, possess an unyielding spirit. They do not settle. They vehemently refuse to utter the words good enough. They do not countenance average. They simply do not permit mediocrity to infiltrate their work, their profound thoughts, or their intimate inner circle. Their internal mantra rings clear. If I am still breathing, I am still growing. If I possess the capacity to speak better, to live better, to think better, then I absolutely will. They stand firm, declaring, I care not one iota what the world passively accepts. I care only about the person I am relentlessly, ceaselessly becoming. They adhere to standards that the average observer might label as utterly crazy or unrealistic. But here's the profound revelation. Those very crazy standards are the crucible from which truly extraordinary, indelible results are forged. Consider the indelible example of Michael Jordan. He wasn't merely a basketball player of exceptional talent. He was an obsession personified. His relentless drive pushed his teammates to such excruciating limits that some openly resented him, even harbored animosity. He trained for longer hours, pushed his body and mind harder than anyone else, and possessed an unwavering, almost pathological, refusal to settle for anything less than absolute perfection. Why? Because he lived by one unshakable rule. If you harbor the desire to win, you simply do not accept average, ever. And that singular, unyielding mindset didn't just make him a star. It transmuted him into a living legend. It wasn't primarily his superior genetics, though he possessed them. It was his zero tolerance for mediocrity. What, then, does the act of saying no to mediocrity genuinely look like in your daily life? It looks like refusing to passively accept your detrimental habits simply because everyone else has them. It means rejecting the notion of speaking broken English indefinitely when you possess the inherent capacity to improve, to refine, to master it every single day. It means making the courageous choice not to endlessly socialize with lazy, uninspired friends, no matter how fun they might momentarily be, when they are subtly draining your potential. It means refusing to languish perpetually in a job you despise, knowing full well you can proactively forge a better, more fulfilling path. It means abstaining from consuming 6 hours of mind-numbing, garbage content and deluding yourself by labeling it entertainment. It means standing before the stark mirror of self-reflection and declaring with conviction, I am better than this, and I will unequivocally prove it to myself. What can you do right now to begin this transformation? Write down 3 distinct areas in your life where you've been passively accepting just okay. Be brutally honest. List all the excuses you've habitually employed to justify that mediocrity. Expose them to the light. Set just one new, higher standard today. Just one. For instance, no more skipping my English practice, come hell or high water. No more mindless scrolling past midnight. Reclaim my sleep and clarity. No more spending time with people who consistently drain my energy and diminish my spirit. You are not obligated to achieve perfection today, but you are absolutely obligated to stop accepting barely enough. The 99% are not fundamentally defeated by monumental failures. They are slowly but surely destroyed by the seductive comfort of stagnation. And every single time you utter the phrase, it's okay, when it's clearly not, you are actively relinquishing the extraordinary life that was patiently, expectantly waiting for you. So, unequivocally say no to mediocrity. Say no to average. Say no to that insidious, comforting voice that whispers, "You're doing just fine." Because you are not here to merely live a life that's just fine. You are here, by divine right and inherent potential, to live a life that is truly, breathtakingly on fire. Stage 9. Act daily without excuses while others wait for the right time. Let me pose this single, piercing question to you, and I implore you to respond with unflinching honesty. How many things, how many deeply held aspirations and desires have you wanted to pursue, to initiate, to embody, yet you find yourself still perpetually waiting to start? Perhaps it's finally launching that YouTube channel you've dreamt of, or achieving fluent mastery of the English language. Maybe it's reclaiming control of your physical health by losing that stubborn weight, or courageously starting your own business. It could be committing to writing that book that calls to you, proactively fixing a nagging health issue, severing ties with a toxic habit, or finally breaking free from the gravitational pull of a toxic person. And what is your recurring internal monologue? Soon, you promise yourself, next week, after I feel ready, once things calm down a bit, I'll start fresh next month. That's the perfect time. But here's the stark, unvarnished truth, the inconvenient reality. There is no such thing as a perfect time. There is only now. And the rest, the soon, the next week, the once things calm down. These are merely the elaborate lies you craft, the convenient fictions you tell yourself, to escape the undeniable, often uncomfortable immediacy of now. The 99% are not living in the present. They are perpetually trapped in a phantom future, forever planning for tomorrow. Most people, tragically, don't actually live their lives. They simply plan to live them later. They treat their most profound goals like a long-term, rainy day savings fund, always earmarked for a nebulous someday, when they'll finally take action. But someday, with its endless deferrals, invariably becomes never. They don't fail due to inherent weakness. They fail because they wait. And while they're caught in this passive holding pattern, the relentless sands of time are passing. Their vital energy is slowly but surely fading. Their most cherished dreams are drying up, withering away, unwatered by action. The 1%, on the other hand, live by one fiercely simple, non-negotiable rule: do it anyway. The 1% do not idly wait for a surge of readiness. They do not wait for the cosmos to align, for the moon and stars to be in perfect synchronicity. They certainly do not wait for external permission from anyone. They forge ahead and take action precisely when they are scared, when they are confused, when they are utterly exhausted, when they are decidedly not in the mood. Why? Because they intimately understand a profound axiom. If you condition your ability to take action solely on the expectation of perfect conditions, you will, with absolute certainty, never take action at all. Imagine your ambitious goal is to construct a magnificent wall, a huge, immensely strong, seemingly unbreakable bastion. The 99% will gaze upon this daunting task and declare, "That's far too much. It will consume an eternity. I simply don't possess the time right now." So they wait, and consequently nothing, absolutely nothing, ever gets built. But the 1%, with their unwavering commitment to daily incremental progress, they simply lay one brick per day. Just one. Even when they are bone-tired, even when they feel profoundly lazy, even when no one else is watching their quiet, solitary effort. And then, 1 year later, an astonishing transformation has occurred. They stand triumphantly before a formidable wall, a testament to silent, consistent action, a structure they built, brick by brick, in the unheralded solitude of their daily dedication. This, precisely, is how your English progressively improves. This is how your physical body undergoes profound, lasting change. This is the fundamental mechanism by which successful businesses are meticulously built. This is how deeply ingrained, transformative habits are incrementally formed. It is all predicated on one deliberate action, every single day. No excuses, For excuses are cunning protectors of our comfort zones. Excuses allow us to believe a comforting lie. It's not my fault. It's simply not the right time. I'm just not ready yet. But here's the brutal truth. Excuses are insidious lies. And every single time you articulate and repeat them, you slowly but surely lose a precious, irreplaceable piece of your potential future. What tangible actions can you implement right now, today? Write down one specific thing you've been endlessly waiting to begin. Write down every single excuse you've ever used to justify your delay. Lay them bare. Now, with conviction, cross them out. Erase their power. Commit to one tiny action today. It doesn't need to be grand. It just needs to be done. 10 push-ups. 10 English sentences practiced aloud. 10 minutes of focused reading. 10 ideas brainstormed for your ultimate dream. Don't strive for bigness. Simply strive for done. Because the only thing worse than the sting of failure is the profound, lingering regret of not even starting. The 99% passively wait for the right mood, the right moment, the right month. The 1% conversely move in purposeful silence. They act decisively before they feel entirely ready, because they intrinsically understand you don't need a better plan, a more perfect strategy. What you profoundly need is a stronger, unbreakable promise to yourself. And that unwavering commitment, that unshakable self-resolve, is precisely how you will ultimately rise, definitively, above the crowd. Stage 10. Become who you were born to be while others die as a version they settled for. This isn't merely another stage in a sequence. This is a stark, unavoidable reality check. This is the mirror you've instinctively been avoiding, the one that unflinchingly reflects your deepest truths. This is the ultimate question that will either haunt your dying days or profoundly heal your living ones. Will you ultimately die as the authentic, real you, or merely as a sanitized, compromised version the world subtly or overtly created for you? Let me articulate a truth that is both difficult to hear and absolutely vital to internalize. Most people, in their tragically common trajectory, will journey through life and eventually die without ever fully becoming the magnificent, powerful person they were genuinely meant to be. They will languish in jobs they fundamentally despise, remain entrenched in relationships that systematically drain their vital energy, silence the vibrant whispers of their creativity, bury their unique gifts and talents deep within, live by rules they never consciously chose, and obediently conform to systems they never once dared to question. They will drift through a quiet life of mere survival, and tragically, they will die with their most profound dreams still fiercely burning, unfulfilled, inside them. And the most heartbreaking irony? They will perceive this as entirely normal and acceptable, simply because everyone around them did the same. The 1%, however, possess the courage to gaze deeply into that same mirror and ask a probing, transformative question. Is this truly me, the essence of my being? Or is this merely the person I've become because I allowed fear to dictate my path? They harbor an unshakable refusal to die with their vast, untapped potential still locked within them. They yearn, with every fiber of their being, to empty their soul, to pour every ounce of their unique essence and ability into the world. They desire to scream their truth, to articulate their purpose with unbridled passion. They crave to live loudly, fully, vibrantly, and utterly fearlessly. And to achieve this, one singular, paramount requirement exists: transformation. It demands the courageous act of destroying the inauthentic version of you, the fake, the fearful, the programmed, the compliant self, and courageously becoming the magnificent, authentic version that has been patiently, persistently whispering from deep within you for years. Allow me to offer a compelling historical example. Before he transcended into the global icon known as Muhammad Ali, he was simply Cassius Clay, a young man from Kentucky. In his early days, few believed he possessed the destiny for greatness. He was frequently mocked, often hated, and repeatedly rejected by the establishment. Yet, deep within his very core, he harbored an unwavering, profound knowing. I am not merely who they say I am. I am, with every fiber of my being, who I choose to become. And so, he embraced that internal truth. He boldly changed his name, fundamentally shifted his mindset, and in doing so irrevocably changed history itself. He refused to passively accept the identity he was told to be. He defiantly became who he was born to be. You, my friend, were not merely born to shuffle through life, paying bills, endlessly scrolling digital feeds, passively watching reels, blindly following rules, and ultimately dying quietly, unnoticed. No, you were born to create, to speak your truth, to change something significant, to leave an indelible mark, to burn with an incandescent purpose. And if you choose not to do it, if you remain trapped and stuck, if you continue to wait for an opportune moment that will never arrive, you are not merely squandering your precious time. You are committing the ultimate betrayal. You are betraying the real, authentic you. So, I implore you, ask yourself with unflinching honesty, right now, who am I truly becoming? Write down the version of yourself that fills you with a quiet dread, the average, unremarkable version you fear settling for. Now, with hopeful conviction, write down the version of you that would make your very soul swell with profound pride. The choice, the monumental decision, is now yours. Choose, then fundamentally act. Because this is your singular life, and there are no replays, no second chances on this stage. The 99% don't truly live. They merely exist. They repeat, they scroll, they complain, and then silently they disappear. But the 1% they rise. They awaken with fierce intention. They metaphorically bleed for their future, for their dreams. They defiantly refuse to settle, and in that unwavering refusal, they etch their names into the annals of history, becoming genuine legends. So now, at this critical juncture, ask yourself once more, will you choose to join the ranks of the 1%? Or will you merely finish watching this video and passively drift back to sleep, back to the comfort of the familiar? The power of this choice rests entirely within your hands. Let us conclude this profound conversation with not just fleeting motivation, not transient hype, but with raw, unvarnished truth. The kind of truth that doesn't just pass through your ears but settles deep within your heart, resonating there forever. Listen closely. This world, in its desperate need, does not require another average person. It needs you, the real you, the focused you, the powerful you, the version of you that has been buried, perhaps for too long beneath layers of fear, flimsy excuses, pervasive distractions, and overwhelming noise. And if this video, if these words have found their way to you today, understand this. It is no accident. You were profoundly meant to hear this, because deep down, in the quietest chambers of your soul, you instinctively know you are not here to merely exist like the 99%. You are here to rise, to lead, to grow exponentially, to build something enduring, to change what needs changing, to inspire others, to speak your truth unequivocally, to master your English, to ultimately master your entire life. So, from this precise moment forward, let there be no more waiting for ideal conditions. No more succumbing to trivial distractions. No more placating yourself with the empty promise of one day. Let today be recognized as the inaugural day of your 1% life. Because you do not need to be flawlessly perfect. You do not need to possess all the answers, to have everything meticulously figured out. You simply need the courage to take the first trembling step, and then the next, and then the one after that. Your future is not some elusive, predetermined mystery. It is, in every sense of the word, a choice. And if you seize that choice, if you make that powerful decision today, you will look back 6 months, 1 year, 5 years from now and say, with profound gratitude and conviction, that video, that single moment, was when absolutely everything changed. If this video has genuinely provoked thought within you, if it has opened your eyes to new possibilities, if it has ignited a deep, resonant feeling in your soul, then do not, under any circumstances, keep this transformative message to yourself. Comment below, I choose to live like the 1%. Declare your intention. Share this with one singular person whom you know, deep down, desperately needs to hear this message, needs this awakening. Subscribe to this channel, because this is not merely fleeting content. This is your burgeoning community, your extended family, your sacred, safe place for accelerated growth. And always remember this profound truth. You are not behind schedule. You are not late to the game. You are not broken beyond repair. You are simply one powerful decision away from finally, gloriously becoming the extraordinary person you were always meant to be. Let's go. Welcome to your 1% life. Welcome to your future. Welcome home.